So let's start by looking at the word church as found in most English Bibles. This is the word that usually translates the Greek ekklesia, as in Matthew 16, verse 18, where Yeshua says, "On this rock I will build my church," my ekklesia. But what's weird is that the English word church actually derives from a completely different Greek word, kyriakos, which means belonging to the Lord, or in the possessive, the Lord's, Lord apostrophe S. And it appears exactly twice in the Scriptures, as in the Lord's Supper in 1 Corinthians 11:20 and the Lord's Day in Revelation 1:10. In modern Greek, it's essentially the same word as the word for Sunday, the typical day for, quote, church. So it's not from ekklesia, but from kyriakos that the English word for church developed and came to mean the Lord's house, that is, a physical house of worship. But the problem is that whenever we read about church or assembly or congregation or community in the Bible, never does the underlying concept mean a physical place or house of worship. Never. There's the temple and there's the synagogue, but church is never a place. So while it's 100% true that we as believers and followers of Messiah belong to Him, we belong to the Lord, we are kyriakos, the word church, both etymologically and in normal usage, incorrectly interprets the word it's supposed to be translating, ekklesia. So what about ekklesia? Well, while it's true that in the lexicons we see words like assembly or meeting or congregation, and those terms are technically correct, the way those ideas translate in relation to what church has now become still obscures the biblical concept. So if church or assembly or congregation are bad translations, then how should we translate it? Well, the word ekklesia comes from a combination of two other Greek words. Ek, meaning from out of or forth from, and kaleo, which means called. So the compound word ekklesia then contains the idea of being called out from one thing in order to go forth toward something else. And that's why in the MJLT, the Messianic Jewish literal translation, because there was no more accurate word in English, I just translated ekklesia literally, not as church, but as called forth, such that Matthew 16:18 now reads, "And upon this rock I will build my called forth." And instantly, you're forced to think outside the box of what you've always thought of as church. You begin to engage directly with the concept within its true scriptural context.